The one thing I do wish is like I love going to all the other events just because I like seeing things fresh for the first time. And there's just part of me that's like, I wish I could see our mazes with fresh eyes, which is why I do like taking people who've never been before, or friends of mine who like get to see the new thing. Because I get to live vicariously through their excitement. Because I'm like, yeah, I walked through that Tuesday. You know, it's not the same. But yeah, the teams just take such crazy pride in it. It's just awesome to see.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Maximum Zack. On today's episode, we have Gus Krueger. He's a designer at Knott's Berry Farm.
I sure am.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a designer at Knott's, which basically means that I'm a creative designer. So the designers that work at Knott's, we come up with all of the seasonal attractions. So we corporate mostly handles a lot of the big park-wide stuff that rides, zone, like themed area, stuff like that. However, we have a bunch of seasons throughout the year. We have Boysenberry Festival, we have Peanut Celebration, we have Merry Farm, but most importantly, of course, is Not Scary Farm, because that's the most awesome thing we do. But we in the design team, we come up with all of the attractions that go into these seasonal events. And, a lot of it is just we come up with the idea, we design the idea, and then we have wonderful people that make the idea. So it's pretty darn cool.
Oh, it's awesome. How long have you been there?
My first year at Knott's was 2000.
Oh, wow.
So I did work for a few years. I think I did about 4 seasons originally, and I started as a monster at Scary Farm.
Oh, what monster?
I did not know that about you.
Well, it's true.
Wow.
I did. Yeah.
What were you in?
I was in Elvira's Nightmares.
Okay. But what maze were you in?
I'm sure that woman never thought about it.
Never again.
Good for her. She's probably got, she was over in the theater, I think. But yeah, I was in the maze Elvira's Nightmares. I was just a random skeleton dude just running around. I had actually tried out in the late 90s when they had talent auditions. A buddy of mine was just like, hey, come on down, work Scary Farm, or what he called, work haunt, you're going to meet chicks.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Work haunt, you're going to meet chicks. Honestly, it's a good way to meet chicks. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
he was right.
But I had come down. I'd come down really late in their hiring, and like back then it was all auditions, and they just had you do this ridiculous stuff on stage, and whatever I offered, they didn't need at the time. So they're like, "Hey, thanks for showing up. There's the door. See you later."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Peace out." And then I didn't really think about it. But then 2000 came around. He's like, "Hey, come down, get a job. We'll have fun. We'll meet some chicks." And I'm like, I got nothing going on, but I was like, I don't know about the whole audition thing. Cause at the time I wasn't really I just sort of sat around and played video games and wasn't really outgoing in a sense. Now it wouldn't be an issue at all. But at the time it was just, weird to me, the audition thing.
Yeah. That would probably be like a lot, honestly.
Yeah. Literally, I'm like, dude, I sit in my house and play Nintendo and but yeah, so I went down, but he was like, hey, yeah, they don't do auditions anymore. I was like, all right, sure. Now we're back to auditions. So,
okay.
I guess, but I'm sort of already working there. But so I went down, and at the time I just walked in, went to Knott's hiring. The person I interviewed is actually, she's still at Knott's. She was my cast lead for a couple of years. It's Denise Chavez, who runs our makeup. She's in charge of makeup for us, but she was just there, and my brother and I went down. We're like, hey, we want to work Scary Farm. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm running this maze this year, and it was Elvira's Nightmares. And they're like, you can just do this and you can do this. I'm like, all right. And it was fun. And then the next year rolled around, and did it again. But the next year I had more time on my hands, and I had a little bit of background of, I was handy with tools and all that stuff. Not like by any stretch of the imagination a great craftsman or anything, but I was like, I'll come down and see if they'll hire me for the build. So the second year I came around, I worked on the build crew, and it was just the carpentry, helped build a couple mazes, and then I worked our Malice in Wonderland maze. Long story short, and then the next year I came back, I started working on the props crew. Worked a couple more mazes. I never worked the same maze twice because it didn't seem interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then I took a couple seasons off, And then when I came back in 2006, I never left. So so I came back and again I did a season as a monster. I worked on the props crew. They kept me on the books, and then 2007 I literally have been working full time since then, full time hours since 2007. And I worked my way from I was originally a carpenter on the tech side, and then I got over into props. Then I was running the props crew, and I ran the props crew for 5 or 6 years, and that really is a year-round gig, so it's not just during the haunt season. And the props crew for Scary Farm and Knott's in general it's different than theatrical props. You think hey, I'm going to go to the store and just buy a pickle because the show needs a pickle, right? It's really, especially with Scary Farm, it's a lot more than that, because you wind up almost in a sense working with the designer of whatever maze or attraction you're doing, and you're kind of assistant art directing. So the props crew there is in charge of all of the decorating. If it's not, carpentry does their thing, paint does their thing, and then props fills the rest, and and effects chips in and that. So it's just a lot. And
is that still the process today?
Yeah.
Stuff? Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of props. Really does. The props crew, they're involved with just about everything. So they do the lead, our current lead, another gal named Denise. We got a lot of Denises. But she's, she orders things to fill the maze, and then they have pick their crews to run it. And so props will basically go into an empty room that's been painted and do their magic.
Wow.
And so it's really involved. But and I had worked doing that a long time, and to be honest, I kind of got bored because it was running so well, which sounds weird. I loved my job, but it was going so well. Yeah, I loved the job and I loved creating this stuff, but I wanted I wanted to do a little more in a sense. So we had a designer that had just left. He went over to Disney, and he was in charge of a venue that year, and it was pretty much a cut and paste rehash. So I went to our boss at the time, and I just said, hey, if you're looking for somebody to just oversee what that is and just sort of put everything back the way it was, I'd love to get an opportunity to do it. And she's like, oh, you want to be in design, huh? Okay, do this sign. I was like, huh? So I was like, oh, okay. So I just sort of did a layout, and I hadn't really, can't say I didn't have any experience with graphic design, because in the meantime, I actually had started taking improv in school, and I had done just little garbage shows with some friends of mine, and we had a ton of fun, and we actually did all right with it, but it sort of petered out and didn't go anywhere. So I had worked on the construction and sort of graphic and video elements for that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't completely out of the wheelhouse, but apparently I did a good job, because that season I wound up not only overseeing the venue I offered, but another one, and then 2 brand new ride overlays. And then the next year it was just my boss at the time just said, hey, I'm moving you to design. And I was like, okay. And I've been there ever since. So that's a very long answer to a very short question.
It's all good.
But man, it's just it's been wild, and it's still fun. It's still great to create, and over the time I've had kids of my own, and then I've learned how to. I never kind of stopped having fun like a doofus kid anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm good at entertaining
I can attest
them.
to that.
Yes. It has helped me create content for adults, because I absolutely love doing Halloween stuff. I love going to all of the events, all of them. I'll go to anything. It's just
I can also attest to that.
Hey, we've got our stink barn out in the back. You want to come on Halloween? Yes, sure. I'll be there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So but I also love doing stuff to entertain kids and make my kids have something to want to do. So it's really helped me out just to get ready for this job and just enjoy the job. And hopefully, I think I do well at the job, and people seem to think so.
I'm gonna have to come to Knott's this year.
You really need to experience it. I mean,
we're gonna have to go.
We were talking a little before the show, everyone, about Zach not being there and how we tried to get him in.
I know a guy that can get you tickets.
Okay.
He may be sitting across from you.
Yeah.
Nice.
possibly.
You may know
I'm
a
gonna
guy.
have to go to
May know a
Knott's.
guy. He honestly, we can get him an invite to opening night. That would be kind of rad, honestly.
Yeah, when is it?
I mean, I don't know if I could do that, man.
I don't know
I don't know if
that
we can
magic,
pull
that's true.
those strings, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Opening
scary farm
night.
tickets are tricky, even for me. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
fair.
it's a tricky thing, but regular farm, no problem. But yeah, opening night, I believe, is the 18th.
I think it's the 18th. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too
I'm excited.
soon.
oh, that's cool. But no, that's cool though. So what's like probably one of the most complicated like mazes and stuff you've had to make?
Oh gosh, the most complicated thing. I mean, mazes now are so crazy. Like when I started doing them, they were relatively, I don't want to say simplistic, but they weren't what they are now. Like now the production quality's through the roof. So like everything you've got to think about. If it's visible to guests, you kind of want to think about it. So it's just an entire, we want to transport you to a new place. But that said, the most complicated thing I think I did just as far as figuring it out was a experience we had about 10, 11 years back called Trapped Lock and Key. Trapped was an upcharge experience that it was sort of like a maze, but it was timed slots and you paid for a time slot and did the thing. It ran for 3 years. And in the third year, I got to do the main overall design, and I helped choose the rooms for it. And then the running of it, like the directing and talent and of all that stuff, was done by a fellow named Jeff Tucker. So we worked together on it, but I designed all of the actual layout of the rooms. And it was wild because we have one of our buildings there at Knott's was Boardwalk Ballroom. And it's an old ballroom. Generally, that has one maze in it.
Yeah.
For this, I had to create basically the same experience twice in this room. This was kind of like before the escape room boom really hit. So Trapped was a series of, gosh, in that one I was probably 10 rooms, but they're like 10 mini escape rooms where they're all sort of, if we had to time it, they're probably 3 or 4 minutes per room where you have to figure out the way out. And then we had, of course, in each room, there's a talent to guide you because you don't lose the game and get kicked out. They help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, there was one room in particular where I had this idea of, the first year we had done Trapped, we had a puzzle room where you sort of had to push this thing and the wall moved and then you had to do this thing. Well, I had this bananas idea of a 2-story cage room where the people underneath had to like unlock things for the people on top and the people went through. And it was so like, I just sat there. I had it all in my brain. And the funny thing is nobody ever really caught it, but on the bottom, like there was a Dharma Initiative logo.
Was there really?
Yeah, I think I had snuck that in because it was sort of like, to me, I was just watching Lost in like the polar bear room. Like, to me, I'm like, this is that. Like it was sort of my fun little way of connecting it. But I could not, in order to make it work, and they had like turnstiles, you had to crawl through turnstiles. But in order to do this, I literally, I did not feel comfortable getting people to know how to build it unless I taught myself how to design it in 3D. So I literally taught myself, we use a drafting program called Vectorworks. It's an architectural program. But I literally taught myself 3D drafting just to draw these rooms in order to get that paperwork to the teams. And that's just like one room, and they each had to be a different configuration because that area, it actually worked out for me. If you go during Christmas or New Year's, we have a swing band in there, like, but it's a ballroom. It's just, an old style ballroom where it goes down and you have a little dance floor and all that. Yeah. But I designed it so that when we ramped up a little bit, but then it went down into the dance floor for where you're crawling around on the bottom. And even to get into that room, the room prior to it was a guy, like an creepy old dude dressed as a little girl, and you went in like his pink princess bedroom, and like
I remember this one.
to get to the bottom part of the cages, you actually were underneath. You hid under the bed, and then it like opened up, and you slid down. So you went on a slide under the bed, or you went into his closet and got locked into his closet. So as far as like the crazy complicated, that was absolutely by far just figuring out the mechanics of it all, but I loved it. It was such a crazy challenge.
Insane.
That was the one where we also had to, and I'm going to use quotations for the people at home, drink pee to get through one of the rooms,
yes,
right?
You sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
that room
quite
sort
well.
of, it started out as like a, and it was just a collection of crazy ideas. There was no sort of through line. The through line, we were going to explore why this all happened the following year, but that didn't.
Then it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. But yeah, the through line of it. Yeah. So anyway, yes, you did have to drink pee. It was. I wanted like a Howard Hughes type shut-in that was just disgusting. It's sort of. So you went into this room and it was this grungy restroom, and but it was a restroom, but also like a study. So it was just disgusting. There was a clogged toilet on your right. You walk in and face a shelf on the wall that's just nothing but jars of mysterious yellow liquid. And the guy talks to you about what he needs you to test a sample.
Yeah.
So and we had this clogged sink in the back that was just like full of dirty water. So basically you would have to pick somebody. He would usually pick somebody in the group somebody would always kind of volunteer to be the guy, but they would taste the sample. And it
was me, by the way. I tasted the sample.
To be fair, though,
what did it taste like?
It was apple cider vinegar, I think.
No,
what was it?
No, it wasn't apple cider vinegar because that would have been too crisp in a sense. It was regular, straight up distilled white vinegar that we put like dots of apple juice to color.
My God.
So it was like almost straight vinegar.
Yeah, it was not very good.
No,
Obviously.
and like we did, people barfed in it all the time.
Not me. That's not me.
Well, to be
Does that
fair,
happen a lot at Knott's? Do people puke?
In that thing, kind of. Well, I mean, just like anywhere else,
Has
people
there been
drink
anything
and
like really gross, or like can I try any like wherever someone's like, oh my
That's
God.
a really good question.
You know,
anybody ever
I
peed their
don't.
pants?
Yeah. What do you think?
I see funny stuff in reports sometimes.
Yeah.
I know that people have gone into like long in the past. We've had issues of like mazes that were open that people relieved themselves in.
Yeah.
And it's just gross, man. We've found like used condoms and stuff like that all over the place. So,
that makes sense for Holmes.
I mean,
quite
honestly, whatever. God, when they had the Snoopy bounce house in the back of Camp Snoopy.
Ooh-wee! I'm sure that must have been fun.
Yeah, like
Talk about a bounce house.
They needed to figure the way. Luckily, that's no longer a thing that happens because
Now they do it other places.
I hope not.
Knott's. Gus, what are the top 5 places to have sex in Knott's? Go. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting you fired.
Knott's Hotel.
Knott's Hotel. Okay,
Buy
number
a room,
1, the Knott's
enjoy
Hotel.
yourself
Get a
like a
room.
responsible adult and
Yeah.
don't talk about it.
In fact, get a package deal. Go to Scary Farm and stay at the
Hey
hotel.
man, they probably got a merch package for that.
They probably do, honestly.
Shout out to Carl. Got to make them sales. But yeah, man, it's that was wild. But yeah, it was. The funny thing is too, if we keep going back to that, but all of the vinegar and all of that apple cider,
Yeah.
I literally bought every single bit of that at the Smart and Final right off Valley View.
That's really
like
funny.
they would be like, we're running low, okie dokie. So I'll
be
drive
right
over there on the
Yeah.
way to work, buy it up. Here you go, guys.
Here's more pee.
There's my receipt. Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a fun year. It was wild.
That was the year of that particular trap was
Yeah.
my very first. It was my first year living in California, so my first time going to Scary Farm, period, and doing trapped at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, whenever
gosh.
it was, because we were one of the last groups. It was like quite the experience to end the night on. I
It's-
loved it, but
yeah.
goddamn, was a wild.
Yeah, man. You must have gone if it was running that behind. Did you go pretty early in the run?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had to. There was a lot of trial and error and just testing it and like,
Yeah.
timing of it, where we had to find the right thing. And the first night, it went so late. Because we had to figure out. Okay, this room takes too long. This room takes too long. But it's just the testing cycle of something like that.
So can you talk about any of the attractions that are going to be there this year?
Well, I'd love to. Yeah. This year we do have a couple cool new mazes. I didn't design a new one this year, but that's okay because I've been very busy with some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always doing stuff. But yeah, the first one we'll talk about is the zoo, which is my buddy Daniel Miller designed that. That is set in an old abandoned zoo, kind of based on like LA Zoo, or it's just old and overrun. It's just spray painted and graffiti and all of that stuff. But the government, of course, because this is what the government does, they decided to create a secret facility to splice the genetics of animals and people to create crazy super soldiers to do that government stuff.
As you do.
As you do.
I love that.
I think Daniel calls it hybridnetics. It's got a fun little patch. It's all in on it. But
any elephants?
I think there's elephant references on the wall, but I don't think there's actual elephants. I think I was hoping for giraffes, but
Giraffes would be awesome.
That would be wild if you could pull that
But
off.
still, no, that still sounds really cool.
yeah. And so the story is this government set up in this old. They set up a top secret facility in this old abandoned zoo because there's access to all the DNA of that, and they can bring in people, and it's sort of like hide in plain sight because it's something that's just there. But yeah, of course, as things tend to do at Scary Farm, things get out of control, and all of the people start to go, the hybrids start to go crazy, and they are tearing the place up. They're tearing up the normal workers there, and it's just a bad night for a lot of the people involved, but not really a bad night for all of our hybrid soldiers. But yeah, it's really cool. There's a lot of scenically, it's really neat. There's a lot of cool stuff to look at. There's some really sort of great throwbacks to what like the parts that were there when it was a zoo. So like there's some cool murals on the wall. There's like lots of neat distress thing. And then you've got your government lab stuff. It's pretty neat the way it sort of weaves in and out of that storyline. And then what's even cooler about it is that come 11 o'clock every night, the animals sort of take control of it. They chew through the power lines. So you get an entirely different experience after 11. So, so then it's like the lights are out, and then everybody that goes in is going to get this basically a crappy little flashlight to sort of navigate their way through. So you're not going to know the thing quite so well, so you got to find your way through. But then the monsters are still in there, and they know the area, so you're probably SOL when they can find you.
I'm so fucking stoked for that.
That's really really cool.
Yeah.
So so that's a cool one because number one, it gives you a great just value in going back and seeing it again. So it's almost like a second maze that you're getting with this. But also like for what's really neat this year is we have if you go to the buffet, there's like a pre-scare buffet where you get access to certain mazes before normal park opens. And this year, all 4 of our mazes from this year and last year, all of our newest mazes are going to be available for pre-scare.
Oh, hell yes.
So you'll be able to hit up. I had a new one last year. That's in there. Widows was a new maze we had last year. That's in there. And then the 2 new mazes with the zoo and Mary are both going to be available for that pre-scare. So that's the zoo. It's pretty fun. I just walked through it yesterday, and it's coming together.
I can't
really
wait
well.
for that maze.
The other new maze we have is sort of the Not Scary Farm take on the Bloody Mary tale.
Okay.
And it's called Mary, the Haunting of Worthome. Now, Mary has the backstory of Mary. It'll take a little bit to set up before you get to where the maze is. But the backstory of Mary is that Mary was actually one of the sisters of Sarah Marshall, who is the Green Witch at Not Scary Farm. The Green Witch is sort of the
tying
one.
it into the legend. See, that makes it even cooler for me.
Yeah.
That's
So,
rad as hell.
hey, man, it all works together.
It all comes together, yeah.
But yeah, so this is sort of one of the sisters of Sarah Marshall. So Mary Marshall was a resident, and she just got out of that. I got out of Calico, got out of all that, wanted to create a new life and distance herself from that hot mess that Calico became, which is our ghost town streets, which is totally awesome. And you should totally go check it out. But yeah, so Mary had moved away from there. She had a husband, she had a family, distanced herself far away, but she was sort of a popular girl and a very happy family. And the town she moved to, there were certain people that really took a disliking to her because of that. basically this girl who's just beautiful with a wonderful family comes in and they just feel like what she thinks she's better than us. So some of the people of the town who are maybe not the best people, they murder her family.
Oh, wow.
So
As you do.
yeah, you know, as you do,
Yeah.
they're just not the best people, but they framed it her so that they thought that people, the rest of the town would think that she murdered her family.
Okay.
So we did have a cool promo video that was created for this in the trailer for it. It starts with her sort of mopping the blood on the floor. And that's actually her sort of cleaning up the blood from her dead family.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the townsfolk come and she's just at a loss for words. She can't really defend herself. And they immediately just assume that she's murdered her family. And, you know, because this is late 1800s or whatever, you just you do what you do, and then you beat her to death with rocks, and then you cut off her hair and you bury her in a grave, a shallow grave.
Very
and
shallow grave.
yeah, and then you know, if you're Mary, as you do, you just sort of your spirit just sort of is lost, but not moving on to the afterlife, and in just sort of this spirit realm where she's just searching for her family for hundreds of years, as you do, right? And then her house has still, because they had such a wonderful, beautiful house that, of course, the people were, now it is actually a group home.
Okay.
And it's Halloween night, and the kids in the group home just think it's a fun idea to sit in front of the mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times just because of the old thing.
Yeah.
And as this spirit is still searching, she hears her name, she's drawn to that, and it turns out she's been drawn back to her home. So she breaks through the plane of the mirror to find her way home, to find her family, and things just sort of go south from there.
Okay.
I love that's how every Knott's Maze story ends. And then things go south. Welcome to the maze, everyone.
It's a bad night. Have a great
Have
night.
a great time. You
Enjoy
know?
your time.
I love that.
So I mean, really, like that's the backstory of any good story maze.
It truly
and
is.
then it hits the fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's you get to see there's lots of fun mirror effects with Mary coming through, and then you get to sort of you get to go to the spirit realm where she's been inhabiting all this time, and it's pretty darn cool. So that is our other maze, Mary, the Haunting of Wortham. So yeah, it should be a. Yeah, I did just this week after an announcement event. I was, being a tourist, and like, wow, check this out, because I can, so I go.
Because you're allowed.
Yeah. So I just sort of go through, sipping.
How
This
many?
is so nice.
How many mazes have you designed for Scary Farm over the years?
I don't really know.
though.
I've worked on a ton.
Yeah.
I have probably not personally designed as many as you'd think, but I worked on a ton because at the start of my time, we used to swap mazes a lot more. Whereas, let's say, for a great example, my first year, I was given the reins of Dia de los Muertos, which was designed by a fellow named Dave Ortiz, and I was given the reins of Endgames, which was designed by Brooke Walters. Now, you could say I kind of designed them because I did tweaks to them, and I had to change rooms. And Endgames, I moved entirely. Like my first year designing, I had to move it entirely from one place where it basically took up our Camp Snoopy's zone. It was out on the streets, and I had to move it to a warehouse in the back. So, but
That's the one I saw.
Yeah, so I
version of
did.
Endgames,
Yeah. It was better. No, just kidding. But no, I really embraced kind of the guar of it when I moved it back there because it was ridiculous. It was like this post-apocalyptic punk rock world where, where you compete in tournaments for rich people. It's just sort of that very post-apocalyptic trope, but we went all in, and there was big weird mutants, and it was a lot of fun.
No,
it was really a lot of fun. But yeah, I did a lot of fix-it mazes or like takeover mazes for other people. Original concepts for me were, I did the Evil Dead log ride, but that's not really an original concept.
It was still rad as hell, though. It was
thank you. I appreciate that. And that was a weird one, too. I did the Witch's Keep, which ran for a long time in the mine ride.
Yeah.
Gunslinger's Grave was my first original maze. And then I did Trapped. I did Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter. Oh, my God.
That's a whole nother story. And I did Dead of Winter, and then I did came up with a concept for Red Barn, and Daniel and I worked on that together, and then Dark Entities, and Eight Fingers 9. So it wasn't like a
That's still a lot of mazes, Gus. That's a lot of mazes, bro.
Yeah, I always want more, man.
I know.
No, but it's fun to create. Yeah, so I've had my share, but yeah, I mean, I did. I co-designed Grimoire, so I did a lot of work on that. Like that was John Asperin's design originally. He's the one that did Mary this year, but I worked with him to sort of hone in on what the story was, and then I did a ton of scenic design on it, and then I art directed the install of it. So I did that. Gosh, a lot of stuff, man. I've done tons of sets this year. I'm doing the set for The Hanging. I designed the set for our Carnival show. I help curate the art show. I just do all kinds of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
So your hands are literally all over Scary Farm, though. Quite honestly, from the mazes to like the shows and everything.
Oh, I forgot Chilling Chambers.
And Chilling Chambers. That's right. That's another one.
I did that with John and Ted. That was a lot of fun. And this year we have a new character in there, so that was a fun little thing to get to go back to. But yeah, man, I guess I've done some stuff.
You've done some things.
Oh yeah, and this year I'm also overseeing the implementation of the lantern, our new lantern activations.
New lanterns. Okay, cool.
Little of this, little of that. Yeah, we've got a lot, man.
I know you haven't been, Zach, but Scary Farm is like such an event for people in general. Like I know you know this, but like it is such a huge deal. With
I've heard about it a lot. I'm gonna go this year.
You definitely, we definitely get you in this year, bro.
Gotta do it.
Weird shit there.
For sure.
I love it.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's just such a. Have you been to any of the other competitors that we won't gross?
Technically, I've only ever been to, what's it called? Like
Horror Nights?
Universal Horror Nights,
Yeah.
and I've been to.
But we only did 2 mazes.
I only did 2 mazes
at Horror Nights because we were shooting that night.
I've been to. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I don't remember if so that's probably it, really. Like the other big competitor wise, I've never been to whatever Six Flags does. I've never been to.
That's fine.
I don't know what do they call theirs?
Fright Fest.
Fright Fest.
Yeah.
I never been to Fright Fest. Does Disney do like a fucking horror thing?
Disney's thing is Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah, the Oogie Boogie Bash is more
totally
like a
different.
big Halloween party.
I was trying to think of other possible.
Yeah, I think.
But Hong Kong did that thing a couple of years ago, Hong Kong Disneyland, where it was like a full-on haunted house walkthrough with the Disney characters.
That's crazy.
And it was fucking
They
terrifying.
should have invited me.
They should have invited all of us, quite honestly.
They should have. Yeah, no, but Horror Nights, I think you get the vibe of what you get an idea of what the vibe is.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I guess I've been to some other just smaller little haunts and whatnot, or little
local stuff.
Yeah, local. I went and did stand up at this random town in Michigan, upstate in the UP in Michigan, and then across the street they had it wasn't necessarily an escape room, but it was pretty much just a maze. But it was just it was just out of nowhere. I don't know why it was even there. But it was actually pretty scary. That was one of the first times I went through something where, you had to go through this this part where it seemed like you were almost being suffocated because the walls were
yeah, they're they call them claustrophobia tunnels. Basically, they just have they have blowers that just push tight. We have we've tried them in the past, but we have different standards because everybody has different fire standards or the lack of actually paying attention to them. But we pay attention to them. So we've tried the claustrophobia tunnels, but we're because of ADA and things like that, we need to keep a certain width to it, so you don't really get that claustrophobia.
Yeah,
it's in what's it called? Oh my gosh, the Sarah Marshall maze. What is that called? Curse of Calico? No, not the Curse of
Origins.
Calico. Origins. Thank you.
Origins.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. When you go in the vortex to go.
Yeah, at the end there, I was I do remember there one being there.
Yep. But yeah, man. So you get the vibe. But the cool thing about Scary Farm is it really is. It's a whole park event. We've got 5 scare zones throughout the place. Wherever you go in the park, it feels like Halloween, and so that I love. And in every maze, I mean, there's just we kind of approach it with every step counts.
Yeah.
So instead of just sort of getting in and waiting for the next scare or whatever, you literally are transported to 10 different worlds. So when you go into something, you feel like you're there, you know, and that's our job, is really to take people, to make them feel like they've been transported to these other places, these cool, ridiculous, sometimes crazy, sometimes storybook looking, sometimes just utterly the weirdest depths of hell looking places.
Yeah.
But to get you so immersed in that environment that you don't really pay attention to this dude that's like literally 2 feet from you, gonna ooga booga the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of I love how haunted houses in general have just, the bar has been raised, especially over the last 10 years.
Because of you guys, I honestly feel like Scary Farm does do it best, especially when it comes to the theme design and like the story of everything. Like personally, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here, I would say this to anybody, Scary Farm is the best of the best. Quite honestly, you guys always knock it out of the park, and it's always like you are going to these other places where other haunts are walking through, and you're like, oh, that's fine. This is fun.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. But
not your mazes though, the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, hey,
I'm just kidding. 8 Fingers Knott is so goddamn fun.
Yeah, no, listen, I for a while my joke was like, hey everybody, it's me, your third favorite designer. But like I've designed your cousin's friend's favorite maze.
Yeah.
And here I am.
That stoner guy that you don't really like, his favorite maze.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. But no, I used to be like, especially sometimes there's ebbs and flows, and you learn never read the comments, right? But for a while it was like, it's touch and go when you do any of this stuff. But we've been real successful, and we've been able to just across the bar, we just bring things up. And, and especially, since I really feel like, I don't know if you saw it, but the Maze Delirium.
Yeah.
Way back when, I really felt like, to me, as far as Delirium was another maze by Daniel Miller, where you just sort of went into nightmares in a sense, and it was just the delirium of this girl's mind, and you're sort of going in and out of her nightmares, and it that was the one where I was running the props crew at the time, and I really gravitated towards what Daniel was doing in that maze, and it was just like, we've got to make these rooms just feel real. And I felt like that was sort of such a good turning point in not only just making everything just look damn cool, but feel like you're walking into these things, because they in the past, before that, we didn't have tons of crazy competition, and we were doing, we were trying to do a lot more mazes, but the quality was spread thin. And now we focus on 2. In a very rare year, we'll do 3, but we were really able to take so much creativity and craftsmanship. The crews at Knott's are bananas, and like the stuff they do is all done in house, and it's by the people. Sure, there's some store-bought stuff as far as like their specialty bodies and things like that, but for the most part, everything you see when you go into a Knott's maze has been created by a craftsman at Knott's, and that's crazy. But yeah, I feel like since Delirium, we've really just set a bar, and we don't measure ourselves against everybody else. We're just trying to, be a little better than last time.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's great to see. And I know sometimes I may be guilty of this a little. Sometimes we probably ask for this when we can do this, and we have to find a way. But the product it's just so cool. Like the mazes are so cool.
Yeah.
I wish, the one thing I do wish is like, I love going to all the other events just because I like seeing things fresh for the first time. And there's just part of me that's like, I wish I could see our mazes with fresh eyes. Which is why I do like taking people who have never been before, or friends of mine who get to see the new thing, because I get to live vicariously through their excitement. Because I'm like, I walked through that Tuesday. It's not the same. But yeah, it's the teams just take such crazy pride in it. It's just awesome to see.
Well, it's awesome, man. I ask everyone that comes on this podcast this question: is there anything that you do every day to make sure you're reaching your maximum potential?
It's funny that you asked that. I one of the things that I have always strived to do, and it even comes down to, you can ask to a fault, my bosses and the people I work with, even if I'm like, hey, you've got to make this sign, right? I don't feel that anything should ever feel like an afterthought. Like, I think everything I create, everything, you know, if it's the simplest sign that's just a wayfinder or something, I think if I can put a little fun in it or a little zing to it or give it something that looks better than a guy typed and it's on a green background or whatever, I'm always trying to make everything look like it was done by someone that cares, right? Because somebody out there spent hard-earned money to look at this dumb crap that I create. And I never take that for granted because I'm extremely fortunate. I didn't go a college route to get to where I am. I literally am the weird story of somebody that worked his way up. Like, I studied TV video, man. Like, you know, I was almost an editor. And then I was like, I think I'll work Scary Farm this year. And like, that's literally like, I had a gig sort of lined up. My professor helped me find it. He's like, hey, this post house has an opening here. And I'm like, I'm gonna go meet some chicks. Right. So like, it was like, I'm thinking, but yeah, it's just wild. So I personally never take what I do for granted because I worked extremely hard to get here. And I want to make sure that I'm always open to learning. I'm open to honest and thoughtful criticism. I don't sit there and people are always going to not like something. I try to really hard to separate the feelings of how dare you insult my masterpiece to like, I always try to take criticism two ways. If it's a guy on the net trolling, I don't sweat it. But if it's like criticism from somebody that I care about, that opinion like is valued or is somebody who has talent, I have to look at it two ways. Is this a difference of opinion? I'm an artist. We all have difference of opinions. If this is a difference of opinion, I value your opinion. I'll think about it, but ultimately I'm probably going to go with my gut. Or is this a legitimate critique that some aspect could be better? And it's really hard to take the emotion out of that because like nobody likes your work to be picked apart. This dude over here pissed me off a few times with like the 7-second reviews in the past. And I'm like, because they do, that's a whole other story. But like his commentary on things that have happened where the stuff they make fun of is so out of my control that it was like frustrating. And it was just
totally
like,
get it.
And I was like, I wouldn't watch him for a year. Like I literally stopped. I didn't because
I think
it was
we've
like,
talked about this.
Yeah, because it was just like, but I had to get over that because, you know, if you can't accept the fact that you're not perfect, that you don't have room to grow, just get off the planet, right? None of us are perfect. Like if you're so up your own ass that you can't accept that you could have possibly done something better, not just for you, but for like the world. Like, so again, I'm really good at really long answers to really short questions. So if he's still here. So yeah, what I try to do is I just try to always learn and always be better and always try to, like last year, I think like the maze I did last year, 8 Fingers 9, it was such a delight to make. And so much of it went so according to plan, but there's still things where I'm like, man, if I'd had the foresight on this, I could have, and it's not even like execution wise. It's like, how could I have communicated this better so that these people could have successfully done what I wanted it to be? Now I could easily say they didn't do what I wanted to be, but I'd rather look at it like, how do I prevent that in the future? How do I better facilitate them for success, which helps bring what I want to be to a higher level. So it's really just being honest with myself and knowing like, man, I make tons of mistakes. I make some every day. That's fine. I can't, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and lose sleep because I made mistakes. It's more like at the start of the day is just, hey, let's try to do things a little better than yesterday. You know, and I don't have to tell myself that. It's not a mantra. It's really just a matter of, you know, did I do something wrong or even inefficiently or whatever? How do I improve on that so that, hey, I can do it a little better and have a little time to breathe, you know? So yeah, it's just accepting that knowing that I obviously can do what I can do for a reason. I'm in the position I'm in for a reason, which is great. People appreciate what I make, but also knowing that like there's always room to grow and be better, and striving for that.
Oh, definitely. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
This is
thanks for
great.
coming, Gus. I do have to say, obviously, I have the utmost respect for you and the work that you do. Of course, yeah, I may be an asshole sometimes to the viewers, but like, I do love everything you do. And again, 8 Fingers 9 is a fucking banger.
Well, we got to get this guy to see it.
I know. Honestly, it was like my favorite maze last year.
I could have done like another hour just talking about that.
I would even listen because I love that maze so much. Is there any like new additions this year? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah.
There are new stuff in that maze? Hell yes.
Well, yes. So one of the neat things about Scary Farm is that, you know, sometimes as is any creative endeavor, you don't always hit where you want it to be every year. And luckily there's certain times where like there's certain things that were far enough along that when the next year comes around, obviously our main driving force are our new attractions, because they've got to be great, because that's why people come back, because our mazes are top notch. They're like world-class things that we're trying to bang it out of the park on every single go. But sometimes things don't always work out perfectly. So with 8 Fingers 9, there's a couple things where we didn't have a couple video elements weren't quite fine-tuned last year. There's a couple that didn't quite make it. And there were some, just enhancements. So luckily we were able to go back, take some love, like look at areas where maybe we didn't have the time to properly get the lighting totally dialed in, and like get it more to where we were all happy with it as a team. The finale room where you, really quickly, 8 Fingers 9 is a boogeyman who is a wood spirit, and he's attacking a colonial town. Okay. So basically you go through this colonial town, and then you go through his weird, freaky way of traveling through nature, and then you go to the woods where he is, and you try to fight back against him, and then you die. And then you die.
Story about
yeah. But so the end of the maze, you actually walk into his mouth, and then you sort of go through this weird little squishy thing down his esophagus, get a little pop scare.
I love it.
But we had issues. We could never get the configuration of the bungee rig right, and there was like light bleed was a hot mess. It just the bungee platform itself was something last year that had to go through a few different configurations, and then there was safety concerns, and like it never got the chance to really be what it could be.
Yeah.
But we had the opportunity this year to use a different type of bungee. So instead of a jump down bungee scare, I was able to get some of the rigs that were in Bloodline last year, like the sort of the lean out bungee
Oh, hell
scare.
yeah. Those are cool.
Peace out to Bloodline. Gonna miss you, buddy.
See you, Bloodline.
But so I have more of because it's a confined space, so I have more of a leaning scare that's more focused towards this. So we're able to better facilitate the lighting for individual scares. And then when you turn around and then you get eaten, it's more of a reveal, so you don't see him right away. And also, you'll notice last year he had like clear eyes.
Yeah.
They're meant to be projected eyeballs. So his eyeballs will be in there.
Hell yeah.
This year.
Can't wait.
And and just lots of other, like just minor, I guess, quality of life fixes that we were able to address. And, hopefully we should still have something a little extra in the queue this year.
Nice.
And if we don't, then just...
then forget
I just did the Men in Black thing, and now
we'll cut that part out of the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah. So again, like, and that's the cool part about the gig sometimes is that even when you're in that mode of trying to get it all done, some things don't always happen.
Yeah.
But if they're far enough along, and they're in the pocket, and there's the resources, then we've got something new. And and that's not like the type of thing that you highly publicize, but things we're always looking for ways to tweaks, and even bringing in a new character in the Chilling Chambers this year too.
What I love about Knotts, you're always like tweaking that
we're
stuff.
Trying, man.
You're surprising us all the time.
We definitely try.
Zach, we're going this year, baby.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Sounds good, man.
Let's do it.
We'll see you in the fog, Gus.
Well, thank you so
much. If I see you first.
Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Hey man, everybody, come to Scary Farm. I mean, if you're watching this from my page, you probably already going to Scary Farm. But yeah, if you haven't been to Scary Farm, for you, it's just fun. I mean, I love Halloween. I love the season. 100% my favorite season to design for at Knott's. It's just the level of creativity and just atmosphere is just off the charts.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a great way to go there, to let down your guard a little, to get scared and have fun in safe environments, and just, live out so many different realities and just always come back to the same place. And then you get to have a churro and a beer and have a great night.
Do it all again.
And do it all again. Yeah, man. It's come on down to Scary Farm. It's the best.
You heard it here. Come on down to Scary Farm. You should go check it out, though.
All the cameras.
I'm going to be there too, so at some point. So maybe not the same day you're going to go, but you all should go if you're watching this.
Absolutely.
And and remember, stay maximum.